What's up, YouTubers? This is Fenner Guy Reviews on the very first video on Fenner Guy Reviews. It is called the Top 10 Worst Moves in Charlotte Area Transit. In this list, we're going to talk about how bad CAT's moves were. And don't get me wrong, and don't call me biased, Charlotte Transit is probably one of the most underrated public transit services in the US, not counting big cities like Chicago, Philly, or God forbid New York City, but more strategic. However, CAT's has some pretty bad flaws and fuck-ups that need to be mentioned. Alright, here we go. Number 10. Getting rid of Route 232 Grier Heights. Before the light rail extended to UNCC, the Route 232 existed and goes to Grier Heights from now defunct Eastland Mall, now the Eastland CTC. Despite being a more unsafe environment than now, Route 232 is one of the most robust routes in Charlotte Transit. They got rid of it and replaced it with Route 39, Eastway Drive, and honestly, they could have kept that one, except I got a suggestion. Have the 232 go to Department of Social Services connected with 15 and 39, and serving the entire strip of Beale Street and the portion of McGalloway Road using the old format of Route 28. Go to both Richland and Craig Avenues, connecting with the 27 at the new Oakhurst Plaza, go to Lanier Avenue, and go all the way to Wal-Mart where routes 29 and 221 go to. If that's not a good idea, then I have nothing really. Number 9. Messing up Route 19 since the mid-2000s. In 2017, the Lynx Blue Line was born and started to operate, so they had to do something with the route. Route 19 used to go to Pineville CMC and sometimes the Marion Doll Center and sometimes end at the Park Road Shopping Center at Woodlawn Road. After the light rail debut, they cut off some of the Route 19's original services and just ended at South Park Mall and introducing the W line, 19W, to the Lynx Sharon Road West Station. Both routes 20 and 58 somehow took part of it and took over part of Route 19. However, Route 19 has been adjusted once again when the light rail extended to UNCC. Therefore, Route 19C was introduced but returned to Pineville in like years. So it was a kind of a dumb idea to have 19W in the first place, and they could have kept the original 19 since day one. If anything, Route 20 could have gone to Sharon Road West Station instead. Number 8. Getting rid of Route 234 Cityview. Route 234 is another circulator that CAT's could have kept, but due to low ridership, Route 234 Cityview is short-lived, replaced by routes 8, 34, and 235, respectively. Even though it is one of the worst Saturday service times for Charlotte Transit until the 235, the 234 is a decent little service in the northwest, serving Rosa Parks Place, Roswell's Ferry Road, connecting with the 130 and 88X and the 238 back then, and Ashley Park, connecting with, I believe, the 2 and 30. Number 7. Not keeping the Route 27C, Monroe Road to Crownpoint. Route 27 is one of the best Charlotte Transit routes in existence and one of the most crowded CATS routes ever. Back in the day, they have such thing as a 27C. It goes to Crownpoint Executive Park with the longest bus route to Uptown, joining with 17 Commonwealth. But after 2011, Route 27 extended to Matthews Township by Harris Teeter Warehouse and abandoned the 27C portion and replaced it with a 17. Does it hurt the 27? No. Is it unnecessary to remove the 27C? Honestly, no, because it competes with the 17 during the time. But is it a bad move? Definitely yes. Especially when going to Wal-Mart directly. Number 6. Route 1 Mount Holly never getting Sunday service at Callabridge for more than a decade. Now, I got a lot to say about this route, but in this video, I'm just going to shorten it because I'm going to talk about the moves that are much worse than this. Route 1 came a long way since the 80s, and it never touches Mount Holly Road until 1998 and 99. No, I'm serious. I did some research on this, so don't ask. But do you know that Route 1 Mount Holly never went to Callabridge Commons Wal-Mart until 2011? Little did they know that the Route 1 has a decent amount of potential since then. The furthest the Route 1 ever went on a Sunday routing was at Paul Creek Shopping Center, and it was back in 2017. When Route 18 reintroduced, but in another location in Mount Holly Road, Route 1 goes to Callabridge Commons finally in late 2007. One of my biggest requests for having bus service to go to Callabridge Commons on a Sunday for 4 years, and they finally did it. Bravo. Number 5. Getting rid of Route 238, Paul Creek Shuttle. Wow, I don't even have to say anything else about Mount Holly area, but now I got more to say. Route 238 is one of the circulators that cats could have kept as well. Well, for backup with the current 18 and 34. But back in 2003, Route 238 serves as the West Charlotte Shuttle, serving the West Charlotte portions at Paul Creek, Chesapeake Drive and Hoskins, and Roswell Ferry Road. Hell, even connected with the 88X is a big deal. But due to being gone too soon, Route 238 holds a good history for some riders like myself who lives in Paul Creek back in the day. Number 4. Things are going to get much worse. Debuting Route 94, Matthews Mint Hill, Village Rider. Once upon a time, there was a proposed route for Mint Hill that failed miserably. Route 94, that's who. A Matthews Mint Hill Village Rider. They wished for service to go to Matthews Mint Hill Lawyers and heading to Matthews Independence Point, connecting with the 17 and 64X. It was the first Village Rider to not run during the weekends and the first route to not run on Mondays. Unlike the Village Riders that we see right now, 97, 98, and 99, the 96 Ramsey Beach doesn't count, but only for 4 days. Not as a short running service as the Charlotte Trolley or the Route 290, which I would talk about that soon. Spoiler alert. Route 94 serves as the southeast portion of Charlotte, Matthews, and heading to Mint Hill. It was a complete failure, in my honest opinion, and yeah, it's a good thing we got Route 51 taking the slack out of it and make things a lot better. Number 3. Getting rid of Route 79X too soon. Route 79. A route that has been through service relocating as a local Matthews Village Rider that appeared in the late 90s and until the early 2000s, I think 2004 or 5, I don't know. And a Saturday service only Super Express to Concord Mills Mall, covering the 80X back then. It is the most unique route in this list, and for good reason. It has Saturday service! Before Route 54 URP Crosstown and the now CCX Charlotte Concord Express, which happens to be the redubbed 80X, they have 79X going to Concord Mills from Uptown, but only on Saturdays. It serves with the heaviest hitter back then, Route 11 North Tryon, but due to hardship financially with the 79, it was not kept anymore. I would suggest keep it for the weekends and not just Saturday if passengers don't want to take the CCX or Route 54. Just a thought, but it's a little too late anyway. Brace yourself, folks. Things are getting worse. Number 2. Debuting the 7W, aka 7N, Beatties Ford, North Lake, and Wal-Mart. Probably the worst decision for any uptown route. Route 7 going to Huntersville, especially having a variant that goes to Wal-Mart after passing North Lake Mall, is a huge no-no. Running for 2 hours at a peak. Mainly because the 7 has been the third highest ridership count and is the third busiest bus route in Charlotte Transit, only rivaled with the heavier hitters 9 and 11. Originally, Route 13 Nevins was going to be upgraded to a Brightontown Wal-Mart from Woodstone and Cedarhurst, but the plan was scrapped and won't be seeing the light of day due to this distance. Bummer. Now, before we talk about the obvious number 1, here's some dishonorable mentions. Cutting down weekend service with 77X North Mecklenburg Express too soon. It's not really the worst move, it's just a move that needs to be eradicated a little later. At least until 2017 and not 2004. 77X North Mecklenburg Express is the busiest express route in the transit and the only one back then that has Sunday service until early 2004 and still become express service. They even cut off Saturday service several years later. Other than the budget cuts on the 77X, it's a pretty reasonable move. 18, Selwyn Avenue and life support. Like the 77X, but a lot lousier. 18, not Paul Creek, used to go to South Park Mall, but due to poor ridership, Route 18 doesn't run during the weekends anymore, and the only local uptown route to do so. Route 18 is currently a Paul Creek Rosa Park CTC crosstown, and it kicked major ass. There. Getting rid of the reverse commute of 53X North Lake Express. Well, right now we have the 63 Huntersville and the deviated Village Riders of 97, 98, and 99, and it helps a bit. Moving on. Getting rid of Route 44, Fort Mill. Honestly, they could have kept that route, but since the 42 dominated the local service in South Carolina, might as well. And speaking of South Carolina, Route 78 and life support back in the 2000s. There once was a Matthews Village Rider back in the late 90s until early 2000s, like I said earlier, about 79. Route 78 was a Matthews Village Rider like the 79 until it killed it, but around 2007, when the Lynx Blue Line was finished, they resurrected the 78 as an Express Plus crosstown from I-45 called the 78X. This was years before the 47X became one of the first bus routes that is not local to not go to the transit center. But since 82X dominated the Rock Hill area in South Carolina, the 78X is forever gone. And not having other routes run on a Sunday to South Park Mall. Wow, this came really close to the top 10 and the only one that can do that. Only because routes 28, 30, and 57 does not run on Sunday. I mean, think about it. 28 is currently the safest crosstown ever by far if heading to Cotswold or Foxcroft from South Park. 30 has superb Saturday service, and 57 is peaceful as hell despite having a mediocre bus service. No, seriously, look it up. They all have potential, but maybe because of piss poor ridership, neither one of them can make the cut for Sunday. And now, number 1, Charlotte Transit's worst move ever. Having Route 290 Davidson and only run for at least a month. In February 2020, right before the COVID-19 pandemic, Charlotte Transit added another circulator that only runs during the weekdays. And it serves downtown Davidson, North Carolina and Davidson College. And by Concord, Davidson Road. Is it the worst idea? Well, only when the coronavirus messed up the transit schedule around March and April. So yeah. And as a result, Route 290 lasted for only a month. That is worse than the 7W, 44, 79X, and even the 94, which is debatably the worst Village Rider I've ever seen. But this is the worst idea Charlotte Transit ever had. It's a waste of government funds and resources just to satisfy everyone. Only to satisfy the people from Davidson, Cornelius, and Huntersville. That's it. What they could have did is keep the 232 except extended to Independence Wal-Mart with the 221 and the 29 and cut off Eastland Transit Center. Or bring back the 25 Clanton Midtown except extend it all the way down to the new Oakhurst area near Monroe and Commonwealth. and renamed the route McAlway Road Crosstown, but instead they rely more on the I-77 corridors up north. And there you have it. The top 10 worst moves Charlotte area transit ever did. Is it still a great transportation service? Yeah, I mean, despite all its flaws, Charlotte area transit is one of the most underrated areas for public transit. It may have some bumps and bruises and some hiccups, not because of COVID-19, but for government funds and not enough funds and piss poor ridership on some. I mean, Charlotte Transit came a long way since the mid 40s and 50s or something. I mean, I did some research and yeah, Charlotte Transit's been through a lot. Fenner Guy Reloaded production.